Hi everyone, Shireen here, and welcome to day 2 of the Daily Creative Challenge for Adobe Premiere Pro. Today's challenge is branded motion graphics. For those of you who are just joining us today, let's hop on over to the landing page and let me show you around. So if you go over to behance.net/challenge/premiere, you can press this blue link right here. It'll say, hi, take the challenge. And if you press this, you can sign up to receive notifications whenever we go live for the challenge. And if you just scroll down a little bit, if you press right here, you can join our community chat over on Discord, and that is where you can submit your challenge for feedback and introduce yourself and all of that. And I also highly encourage all of you to give feedback to each other. Don't just wait for us to give you feedback. Get in there and talk to each other, help each other out, because it is just so helpful to get multiple opinions on things and feedback, right? So now if we scroll down a little bit, you can watch the replay of yesterday's challenge if you missed it by just pressing here, watch video for the quickly cut footage challenge. And if you press get started, you can access the download for the starter files. And same thing, if you go over to this one for the branded motion graphics, you can download the 2 images that we're going to be using for today's challenge. So in today's challenge, it is branded motion graphics, and you're going to learn how to design animated titles and graphic overlays using media replacement and motion graphics templates. So before we dive in, let me just show you. So this is the stock page for Adobe's travel and adventure collection of MOGRTs. If we scroll through them, you'll see there are so many free options, which is so amazing. And if you just hover over them, you can see what they look like. So for example, let's take a look at this one. This one is Versatile Split Screens Title, and you can see there's so many different options. And all you do is basically drag and drop this into your timeline. I'll show you how to do that today. So let's go ahead and dive in to Premiere and we can start the challenge. So over here, you can see I have my footage from yesterday's rough cut, and I actually did go ahead and make some changes to it. I took out some clips and I made some longer, some shorter. So I'm just going to quickly run through that so you can take a look. If you remember that footage of the coffee beans dropping in, I decided to take that out. And for this one, I just made it a little bit longer. So now our total is around 14 seconds, and that's still fine. If you remember, we're trying to keep this under 15 seconds. So now let's go up here. You want to make sure that you are in the graphics workspace. If you're not, all you can do is just click on this and it'll take you over to this workspace and your screen will look something like this. If you look over to the right, you'll see we have our Essential Graphics panel. So here is where you can access all of your MOGRTs, aka motion graphic templates. So you want to go over to Adobe Stock, and we're going to select Free, and let's type in Glitch. We're trying to go for a glitch sort of look for this video. So let's just go through. You'll see that we have 3 pages of glitch MOGRTs. Now let's see. We can take a look at the animation of the MOGRT by selecting each one and then just scrubbing over it. So now you can see that it's showing you a preview of what that MOGRT is going to be looking like. So let's just take a look at a few of them and we'll decide which one we like. So this one, very cool. It has this like super glitchy effect going on. Let's take a look at this one, Glitch GPS Rangefinder title. This is pretty cool too, but doesn't really fit the vibe of what we're going for today, so maybe not that one. Let's see, let's go into page 2. And we have the bold text glitch. So let's go ahead, we'll take a look at this one. Okay, that's cool, that could work. Overlay on your footage, nice. Let's see, clean and bold aesthetic glitch title. Let's see. Cool, that one's nice too. Real quick, let me just take a look at the chat. We've got Valdair, Sam, Gus, hello. We've got Christelle. We've also got Muller. Hello, everyone. Welcome. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat and I'll be checking periodically. So let me know. I'm here for you. All right, so let's just pick a title. I think we're going to go with Bright Glitch Title 1. So I'm going to press to select it and then drag and drop it over to my timeline. And now we're just going to wait for it to load. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to select this title and let me just drag it over 1 so it's on our titles line. And then If we go over back to the Essential Graphics panel right here, you'll see that it pulls up title controls for us. So we can change the text, we can change the text size, and all of these different elements. So let's start with the text. Let's change this and we'll have it say, need a coffee break. And no, I'm not spelling coffee wrong. That's just how they spell it for the product. So that's what I'm doing for the title. So now it looks like that. And you can see it's cut off. We don't see the question mark, the case cut off. How do we fix that? We definitely need the whole thing to show. So really easy. We're just going to make the text size a little bit smaller. And let's say we actually want the whole thing to be in caps. So let's go back here and we'll just retype the whole thing, turn on caps, and we'll put need a coffee break. And I'll just turn off caps. All right, so again, we're just going to resize this a little bit. And then let's actually lower the opacity. So now you can see the footage below it. And that's what we want. And let's see, do we want some of the gradient going on or not? I'm thinking maybe for this one, let's have a little bit of gradient. Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know what you prefer, gradient or no gradient. Let's do around 30. Okay, that looks nice. Now let's move around the text. We don't want it to be overlaid on the product itself. We want it to hover above it, kind of around here. So let's start with the Y position. We'll just bring this up a little bit and maybe let's center the X position a little bit more, somewhere around here. Cool. So now let's change the drop shadow color. We're going to press here and we can use the eyedropper tool to select the exact same color as that brown right there. But let's maybe turn off the gradient a little bit so we get more of an accurate color. So let's do that one more time. Eyedropper tool, and then we'll select this. And maybe, depending on if the gradient allows us to see that brown or not, we'll go back and change that color one more time. So that looks actually okay. I do want to make the brown a little bit lighter though, so it pops a bit more. So let's just change that one more time. Maybe something like that. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, we can always go back and change that if we want to. So you can also change the text spacing amount. So let's say we want the words to be a little bit tighter in, or maybe not, but I kind of like the way it was. So we'll just do Command Z and take that back to how it was. We can also change the text skew. So how much it's angled, basically. We're just going to leave it the way it was again. So Command Z. All right. So now that looks pretty cool. Let's take a look at what this title looks like. We're just going to make this full screen and I'll press space and we'll take a look. Isn't that so cool? Like already it looks amazing, but I don't want this to go through and play on top of all of these clips. So we need to shorten this title. We only want it to go over this first clip right here. But of course, feel free to play around with this. If you want this to go on longer, do it. I'm all for it. I'm just showing you what I'm doing, but of course, just know you always have creative freedom to do whatever you want. So I'm seeing in the chat, y'all are saying yes for the gradient. So we're gonna stick with the gradient. All right, so now I just shortened this. And the way I did that was by being on the selection tool. So if you just press V, it'll bring up the selection tool and you'll see I can just drag it out, drag it in, and I'm just gonna snap it to align with this first clip right here, which is a total of 2 seconds. So now if we play this back, we'll see what that looks like. So let's make this full screen again and let's take a look at this. Nice. Okay, that looks really good. So let's go back onto our timeline. And let's say we want this same MOGRT to play for our outro title. And let's say we want to duplicate that. How do we do that? All you have to do is press Option and then drag the clip over. And just like that, you have a duplicate layer of that same title. So that saves you time. That way you don't have to go back and do that whole color selection process and writing the text from scratch. You have it good to go. And now we can just change our text to say whatever we want it to say at the end. So for this part, let's see, what do we want it to say? let's do get coffee. Actually, let's stay in caps. So I'm going to turn caps lock back on. Get coffee. And then we'll turn off caps lock. All right, so now we need to go back and make some few more adjustments. So we're going to bring this over again, like that. Cool. And then let's say we want to have a different text for the end, because if we just have this saying get coffee for this whole part right here, like that's just too long. We need some more visual interest. So we'll do Option and bring this over again to duplicate it. And then I'll bring this over to the end of the clip. And let's just, for now, extend this over. Again, I have the selection tool selected. Press V to bring that up if you're not on it, and you can just drag this clip out. So now we'll go back over here and we'll select this clip. And for this one, we'll have it say the name of the brand. So we'll have it say Drunk Elephant. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, nice. And then again, we'll just center this a little bit. So something kind of like that. All right, so now we're gonna make this full screen. FYI, the shortcut to do that is the tilde key on your keyboard. So check that out. All right, let's look at this. Got coffee, drunk elephant. Boom, so dramatic, so cool, and minimal effort. We love that. So now let's talk about some other types of MOGRTs that you can find in Essential Graphics. So media replacement is a new feature that's been added to Premiere, and this makes it really easy for you to drag in and drop pictures or videos that are incorporated into MOGRTs. So let me show you. If we go over here and we type in motion, media replacement, you'll see we have all of these different types of media replacement titles pop up. So for this one, let's just pick this one right here. This is the duotone gradient media replacement. I believe it says title. We'll find out when we drag it over. Yeah, replacement title. So let's let this load. Okay, so now if we just scrub through this, you'll see that we have this element right here. This icon is indicating that this MOGRT has media replacement. So if we go over to edit and we select this duotone title, you'll see all of a sudden we have all of these different controls on the right. So let's just go through them one by one. If we go down, we can change the global controls, so the position and the global size. So of course you can scale it up, down, whatever you would like. You can also bring it over, but we're not going to mess with that. We're going to leave it full screen. So now let's go down to media replacement, and this is where the magic is at. So if you have the photos that were provided to you downloaded, this is where you're going to start using them. So let's use this one. This is the product photo. We're going to drag and drop it over, and just like that, boom, you have the photo in there, and it is so easy to use. So underneath here, you have these different options. You can scale to fill, scale to fit, stretch to fill, or no scale. We're just going to leave it on scale to fill. And let's change these controls a little bit because we want to make this product fit within the square a little bit better. We want it to be bigger. So let's bring this up to around 80% to see what that looks like. Okay, so now let's bring up the y-axis and try to center it a little bit. Bring it up a bit more. Maybe even a bit more. And you'll see that it's starting to cut off the image, but don't worry about that. It's totally fine. We're going to address that in a sec. So I think there's fine. Let's just scale this up to 85%. And we can adjust the Y position again. Okay, now you have a nicely fitting photo within the square and nothing is being cut off. So that looks good to me. Now let's move on to the text controls. So up here, you see that we have a slider and you can go from 1 to 5, and I'll show you what that does. So these are basically different settings within here for the title. So you see if I go to 1, it just makes it really compact. And as we scroll over and we go to 5, it'll start getting bigger. So this is 2, and then we'll go over to 3. This one seems to fit the best in my opinion, but we'll just go over and see what 4 looks like. Okay, yeah, that might be a little bit too big for us. And then 5, of course, is going to be really big. So let's start off with 3, and we'll just kind of go from there. So now let's drop down on text 1 and text 2, and we'll start changing around the titles. So for text 1, it's going to be here where it says title. And for this one, let's just put the name of the product. So for this one, we'll put coffee. And then up here, we'll put sugared. Okay, and that is actually too big. So we're gonna go back up here and we'll bring it down to 2 and see what that looks like. That might even be a bit too big, but let's continue watching and see if it animates a bit more. Okay, it does not. So we're just gonna bring this down to 1. And hopefully that fits. Okay, yeah, that fits better. So we'll just keep it like that for now. Now we can, of course, change the font if we want to. So you can go down here and pick whatever font you want. I'm just going to leave it at what it is. You can also change the font style over here. And you don't even have to write in all caps here if you don't want to. So let me take caps lock off. We'll try this again. And we'll write coffee. And if I just deselect that, you'll see now it's just lowercase, but we can turn on uppercase, all caps, and it'll make it uppercase. So just different options for you. Now, just to make this a bit more organized, we'll close these and we'll open up paragraph text. So here, this is going to be this dummy text section right here. Let's change that. Let's put try our new sugar scrub. Fun. Okay, so now we have that. And then for the repeating text, this is going to be the text on the side of the screen right here. So we'll change that. And again, we'll just put the name of the brand. So Drunk Elephant. All right. And do we want to scale that up a little bit? Maybe a little. We'll do like 60. Didn't really make a big difference, but it's fine. It works. So let's close these and let's start going over to the next one. So this one is going to be your element controls. So this is going to be your outline width. So you can see you can make it really skinny or you can make it a little bit bigger, but that's a bit too big. Oh goodness. Okay, let's bring that back. Command Z and Command Z again. We'll do 10. So now let's go over to color controls. And for here, this is where you can really customize your branded parts. And by this, I mean like your colors. So let's say you're working either with a client or you're doing a project for your own YouTube channel or whatever the case may be, and you have specific brand colors. What you can do is customize all of your colors right here, and you can even put the exact hex codes. So let's bring this up, and let's say you know exactly which hex code you need to represent the brand or yourself. Let's say you have like specific brand colors, you can put those in right here. But for this one, we're gonna stick with the whole brown theme of the product. So let's just go over here and we'll just kind of customize the browns. We'll see what looks good. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always tweak it. And then for this one, we'll go back over to the oranges a bit and let's do a bit of a lighter brown. Maybe something like this. Okay, looking good. And then for this one, we also want brown. So we'll just mess with it, see what this looks like. Ooh, that's nice. I think we're just gonna leave it like that, huh? Let's take a look at this. Yeah, I think the colors look nice here. But let's say we actually want this product image to be a bit more visible. What we're gonna do is change this color because I believe that's the one that's going over the product. Nope, I was wrong. We'll press Command Z. It was the first one, huh? Let's try this. All right, there we go, much better. Okay, so now we can add a bit more contrast in here. We'll make this a little bit darker. And then same with this one, maybe let's make this a bit darker too. Okay, nice. And then for this one, let's just make it a little bit brighter. Okay, that's looking good. Of course, you can adjust this as much as you want, but we're just going for like this coffee vibe here. So I think this looks good. And now for this one, we also don't want it to be as long. So again, we're just going to press V to bring up the selection tool and just drag it in. And maybe let's do something like that and just have it fit the length of the second clip. Now you could actually have this your intro, your outro, whatever the case may be. And if you want it to be your intro, you can just drag it over to the beginning. If you want it to be your outro, of course, drag it over to the end. And it's really up to you how you want to do this. So now for this last background controls, this is just the opacity. So you'll see we can bring it down and mess with it, but we're just going to leave it the way it was. So hold on, were you guys able to see that? There we go. So you can see the opacity is now brought down, but that just looks like a mess to me. So we're going to bring it over to 100. All right, so that looks nice. I want to show you one more really cool thing with this. You can actually put in videos. So if you want, let's go back over to footage. We'll bring up these starter files. Anyone, doesn't matter. We'll just drag this one over and you'll see now if we play it, it'll play the video, which is really cool. Okay, my computer's being a little bit laggy, but if you do it and try it out in Premiere, you'll see you can play the video and mess around with the controls. It's so cool. Now, the last one I want to show you real quick, let's go over, it is a social media one. It's in my favorites. So this is the social media handle lower third. If we drag this over, you'll see that you can add this really cool effect and add like an Instagram icon, for example. So let's go over to edit and we'll select this one. And then let's just toggle these. So of course, again, this is your global controls. We're just going to leave that for now. This is your animation style controls. So the way it comes in, either a horizontal reveal or a vertical reveal, we'll leave that as well. And then here is where you can type in all of this different text. So here I'm just going to put, for example, let's say you want to put your Instagram. Like, let's say this is going to live on your page and it's not a brand, like a brand's ad. We'll just take this out. And then let's go down to style controls and bring up social icon style, bring down logo comp. And now we can drag over this Instagram icon. And just like that, boom, you have a really easy lower third graphic for Instagram. It's so easy. And you can change all of the controls again, but I'll let you do that on your own time. And let me just show you what this looks like added on top of the other motion graphic, because I think that looks really cool. So we'll have this duotone one and then the lower third. So it'll look something like this. And of course, we can change this again to be coffee colors, for example. So maybe something like up here. That looks good. And then we'll change to blue. Looking good. And then let's just go back here so we can see what this looks like with the text. Hello. My computer is being laggy. It's like, I'm done. I don't want to edit today. We'll change this text color to white. And if it decides to load, we can see it. Well, it's fine. You get the point. And that is what it looks like. We'll just make this full screen. We'll go back to the beginning and we'll just quickly take a look at all of these again. Nice. So that is MOGRTs in a nutshell. Make sure to try these out. Let us know how it's going over on Discord. Share your project files. And again, that can be done over here in the challenge chat on Discord. And we'll see you there. I'll pop on over. So if you have any questions, make sure to go over to Discord. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 3 of the Creative Challenge. Bye. Thank you so much for watching.